Hey folks, this is Noble Rambler, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Banished. Using the Colonial Charter mod version 1.6, the Forge Awakens, and I think I am pretty much declaring a state of emergency. I got to looking at everything between these two episodes, and we're down to 12,000 food. I mean, we are crashing on food right now, and wow. So I went through and pruned all of the labor and builders, or from the professions that I could think of, and I've got them heading this direction. First thing to do though is I'm throwing in a second trader right here, just like this guy. See if we can get 2 boats of food coming in a year instead of 1 until we pull out of this. I hope you're heading here. So yeah, we need to get these farms up and going. It just blows me away that we have taken this food spiral when I know we've added quite a few kids. I guess there are an awful lot of children there. That's probably the biggest draw right there. We were at 80s and 90s on these numbers. So we've added 140 and another, we've added easily 200 people to our population. Wow. So let's see what this. No, it's not a food trader. So I've asked them. In fact, I'm going to do it one more time just to be sure. Guys, I want this one done first. That's right there. We've got to get that one done. We've got 55 laborers and 60 builders right now. I queued up. I put in a whole bunch more farm spots throughout this area, and up in here, all around. And so I prioritize all of that. And then I went over and prioritized this guy. So I'm thinking we're seeing they're just gradually making their way over to get to work on this. We should see these trees dropping here pretty soon. 9,000 food. Now there's going to be a lot of food in the houses, so we're not going to immediately drop off. Seeds, no, unless that is food, we're not spending the money right now. And I've switched farms, all of these farms, over to either wheat or sugar beets or carrots. That's what we're processing in our tinneries, which gets us more food than we started with. So this comes out to a net positive. So if it's not a food that we are directly processing into tinned foods, then we're not growing it. So I've switched out the oats and barley or whatever was over here, corn. Wheats we are using, I believe. Let's verify that. Are we still making wheat soup? We're making root soup because we were out of wheat. That's right. Onion soup. Okay, we were making onion soup. So wheat doesn't necessarily have to be grown right now either. Let's think about that. We were grinding some for bakeries, but I don't know that that is a net positive on food. So wheat does bring in only 500. Guess that can't be right. 7. There should be thousands on these things. 8s. Okay, carrots, strawberries. Brings in 8 something. Where's an existing carrot? There's one right there. Oh, keep it in the wrong one. That one brought in 7 something. These things used to bring in 1,000 a year. What has changed? 700. There's the only one so far that has been on the money. So we've dropped our production on all of these. Okay, what have we got here? Okay, we've got some things. I'm going to pause while I think about this. We're at a point, we're 4,000. We're at a point to where time is of an essence. So we've got to make sure that things are actually all working toward making more food rather than just letting time waste away. So I'm going to do a lot of pausing until we get through this crisis, or I have found a way to end our Ramblington series. We have our town just kind of go on a death spiral and be done. Alright, so what can we... I guess we're buying everything, even the 4s. Okay. Even though it is expensive. Tallow, I honestly don't know if they consume it. I don't think so. I can see if I can find that on my... Is that under processed foods? Nope, it is not there. So it must be more of a material, something that you make something else out of. So we're not going to get that. We will grab these. Duck meat and bison, cheese bread, bison meat, yep, eggs, definitely, smoked chilies, smoked fish, crayfish. We have got to get to this next harvest, and then we got to get to the next harvest. That's really what's killing me. Kielbasa. So hopefully that second trader will come in, and he'll get enough to kind of make up for the difference. So 15,000. I don't know what that actually is in food. There's a lot of stuff that's not ones, so we may have maybe got 10,000. Maybe more like 8,000 in food. In fact, maybe more like 6,000 in food. I don't know. All right, so let's head down here. Boy, that thing spins downhill real quick. And I guess we should get pub meals. I wonder if how that works. Is pub meal a food? Probably should turn off the production of pub meals. Even the production of everything else that is using food to make things. Because this probably counts more like a happiness thing than as one of the 4 food groups. Yeah. So... yeah, I need to go through and shut down a lot of the food production. Just leave the basic raw foods to keep the numbers the highest as possible. Okay, so we've got fancy furnitures. I guess we could go that route for now. What is, let's see, that would be 6,000 something? 268. 8,000. Okay, so another 7,000. Wood statues, we'll do those. Candles, 264. Another 4,000. We're actually going to be running low on our ability to buy food out of this guy. I may have to go into the other traders and thin them down so they can all move back into this trader. And I'll have to increase the number of traders to pull all this off in time. Yeah, we're going to have quite a balancing act here for a little while. Homewares... we'll wait on that. 200 of these gets us another 4,000. So 100. Need another 152. So 5, 6, 7 more. Overpaying by 2. Alright, trade and dismiss. So before we turn them back on, let's... where'd he go? Here. Let's go to... like 8 employees, and let's thin out of these guys things that can be immediately moved over to here to give us more buying power for food. This is farm supplies. We can empty this one almost. Let's see, ale. Yeah, we'll dump this. I'll have to restock this whole thing later. We'll dump the beef cuts, all of those things, so that we can start eating them again. Candles, we'll dump those out. Let's see, dump the coats. I'm not going to dump everything, but we will dump a lot. Let's take this down to like 200. We'll take that out. And is there anything in here that would really help us? Take this down to 100. Furniture, 100. Glass, 100. So we'll just kind of cut him in half. Hide coats, there's 1,000 hide coats over here. Wow. 250 for now. So yeah, we can only get 5 employees in here. Alright, we'll max them out. Herbs, they can eat herbs. So let's take those out completely. In fact, we'll do that to the other one too. Homewares, let's see. There's still maple syrup in here. Aha, I'll leave the statues. Mutton cuts. So basically we're going to turn this into a lesson of how to pull out of a death spiral. Pottery, we'll leave that over here so there's at least something to sell. Rugs, I think that's our last one. Okay. Now, what's down here? Stone statues, we'll leave those as something to sell in this one too. Wood statues and wool coats. Now we'll leave that. Okay. So, I guess we can get this going again. I'll do the same sort of thing down here. Pull the ale. Oh, this is going to buy us... Yeah, we won't cut this one as deeply. A merchant has arrived at a trading post. That's this one right here. Okay, well, we'll do this one then. Logs, yes. I thinned out our foresters, so we're going to be buying logs now. And there's a save. There we go. Clay, no. Fire bundles, yes. Though if we have a major die-off, we're not going to need them. Candles, sand, silver. We'll still continue with the silver. Steel tools, I think we've leveled there. We're fine. Pewter, glass, and rugs. Alright, 2200. 2272. Bone meal, sure. We'll finish those. Pottery. Yeah, we'll do it in that. We'll just keep the top end so that they can fill it and then they can concentrate on the rest of the list. So that's 2,500 there if we do all of it. So let's do 80, see where that goes. Additional 86. So 3 more of these. And an additional 11. So what is that? 2 candles. We'll just go there. All right. And trade and dismiss. Let's continue emptying anything out of here that's edible. Candles we'll leave. Cloth down coats. Fancy furniture will take you down to 500. Make sure there's plenty to keep dumping into these other 2. What else is in here that could really help us out there right now? Healing oil, herbs can help us out there. There's no... Oh, there is maple syrup here. Okay. That's a food. Mutton, out. Pea coats. I think we've moved enough... made enough available otherwise. We'll leave the rest of the goods in here to be able to have something to trade for this guy. Venison cuts. Alright, gonna stop there. He's at 5 employees, the other one's at 5. And let's see how quickly we can get this guy restocked. We'll go ahead and take him to the max. Well, we'll take him to 10. And I do want to pull out any of the foods that were here. We have 5,600 food out there now. Did that trader pause? What is going on here? Oh, that belongs to this guy. Okay. Trader, 4 of 4 are working. They're bringing the supplies over now. Okay. Alright. So, glancing through this one, what have we got that we can get out of here? We've asked for 1,000. We have none. Fancy furniture. So, hopefully, with 10 people, this is going to get moved in here fast. What else would help us out there? The herbs. Let's get the herbs out of here. That's not the delete button. There. Where's the delete button? Yep, I was hitting that. That is so weird. I'm pounding my delete button right now. Click out over here. Huh. It stopped communicating. Oh, backspace, not delete. Delete goes forward, dummy. Maple syrup. Alright, mutton cuts. Pork cuts. And venison meals. Although I'm not sure the meals are going to help us. As odd as that sounds. I don't think that counts as a food. I may be wrong. Okay. There's that one. So, do I prioritize this again? You guys doing the job? Really need this stone and logs brought over here, guys. Come on. Alright, over here. Yeah, we didn't get these picked up last time, so these two didn't plant. These either. And it's because there weren't enough houses. The labor was all queued up doing roads and other things, and they weren't paying attention. That's not going to be a normal thing. It's just for the extremity of what we're doing right now. They were being asked to do too many other things, and there weren't enough of them. So, what else can we thin down that we don't truly need? For that matter, we don't truly need a brickworks up and running right now. No, we don't. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the brickworks are running? That's odd. What are these guys called? That's also the stacks burner, isn't it? What are those guys called? How do you see if I can track that down? Overview? Yeah, what is that? It's not brick. So I'm not sure what that title is. See if I can find that symbol. There it is. A kilnman. Alright, so kilnman. It's hard to say. This guy. And where we're making charcoal. Okay. You are what? Somehow we managed to wipe you out. So let's add a guy in there. Okay. So let's wander the town and see who doesn't actually need to be employed right now. So we can kick the laborers up even harder. And if they don't have a job site to be working on, they can be over here clearing more land, which it appears that they are doing. They're still not using... I guess that's not on their path in. There's one right there, and they're still not using the stockpile. They've been clearing a lot of land out here. Unless the markets or all of these carts right here are going to the stockpiles just as fast as they're dropping it off, and so you never really see a surplus. But it just seems odd that there's so few, and what is here doesn't belong here. There's charcoal in here. What's over in this one? Fancy furniture, hardwood, sand, iron, copper ore. Of course. What was that last thing? Firewood is low. Yep, it is. You know, I really don't need... I probably should go through and do that. What do we not need running? That's another thought. Don't need the mills right now. Okay, so we're just going to continue working our way through while we're waiting for more traders to come in. Wow, there's nobody coming. Okay, and this guy... Oh, he's right here. We are bringing the stone now. Okay. And we still have plenty of stone. We have plenty of logs. Harvest is happening. We're in late autumn. And we are doing a good job at it. We've filled almost the whole thing. So there's 27. Wow. That's the best number we've seen in a long time. 2,700 there. And 2,200 there. We're at 4,400 food. We're going to see all this food coming in. What are we actually eating right now compared to what we're making? I guess that's a pretty important number to look at. Food. We're using 108,000 and we're making 82,000. So we've got to come up with 26,000 food out of our traders to break even. Wow. Do we want a third trader? Is that what it's going to take to survive this? It probably wouldn't hurt. Is there another place to put him? He'll never go on the diagonals. He's too big. And we're not touching the park. It won't fit here. It goes much deeper in. He's a big building. The only other spot... Well, it could possibly go right there. Yeah, that might be the important thing to do, even if we tear him down later. Yeah, that just might be. Okay, and we only ties up 4 builders. So it's not like it's going to delay everything else. So let's do that. There, this guy. Does he fit? He does. Alright, and there's the road that we're going to line him up against. Let's go one step further in, right there. And do I touch him? I think I do. There's a space built into the blueprint right there, so that would look good. Okay, so that is there. This is our next priority beyond that one. So we're going to prioritize this guy, and then we're going to put this back in. Okay. Whoa! Better, the salt boiler was boiled to death in the boiling pan. Man, life was hard back then. Okay, Flax Weaver, I'd say he goes away. And the clothier that uses the linen, okay, he can go away. This is the apothecary, who is out of vegetable oil because we're eating all of the olives. Okay, he goes away. That was firewood is low. I've built another firewood place up in the new forest area, but that's not going to get built anytime soon. And we don't really have the logs to deal with it until we really get that production going. What are you? You're maxed out. So these guys, let's think about this. No more oil for a while. We'll leave the blubber going though. That's fine. I don't think we can eat that. What else can we shut down so that we're not processing foods? I don't know if something like dairy. I wish I knew the numbers. Where's dairy? He's over. I thought he was in here. There? No. There. Does 73 milk turn into more food than it was used? Am I going to get 73 numbers out of this? Or is one milk, or 10 milks equal a couple of things? That I don't know. Would I get more use out of the milk than I would out of the milk products? So I'm tempted to shut that down. So let's do that. In other words, we're going to turn everybody into laborers and builders. We're going to get all of the farms up and running as fast as possible. Now the preservist might give us a net positive. It doesn't actually say. And we're out of strawberries anyway. I converted a lot of things to carrots. Probably could use a few of those to go back into strawberries. I would do it over at this end though. I think so. So you went to carrots and you went to carrots. Let's change both of you into strawberries. Something else that we are processing. Well, we'll just do one. I'm not certain that this one gives us a net positive like the tinneries actually say that they do. Now, the sugar house is, we don't need that up and running now either. We're turning our beets into sugar, and the sugar I don't believe is edible. It'd be more like a flour. So that's no good. Again, did we make more beef cuts than the beef that goes into it? Is there a net positive there, or does it go backwards on us? I don't know that answer. You are the dairy. We've shut you down. Preservist we're going to hang on to. Trading post. Wrong one. You want to sell us... I guess I could buy... Well, I can say I could buy cattle. Dismiss. And have them butcher them. But... it doesn't seem that... Just got to thinking... While we're doing all this, we could be popping out rice farms like crazy right now. Let's be doing that. Where do we have a gap left? That is within walking distance. These rice farms do a very good job of making food. 1100. Only 700 there. If they have their housing nearby, they do a good job. But they build quickly. And they plant quickly, and they just constantly make. Okay. So, I'm thinking right here. we'll do that. I have a feeling we're going to see a bit of a crisis before this is all done. Lots of yellow dots walking around, unfortunately. And with starvation, they don't last very long. It's not like tools running out. You know, I'm going to take this down to a 1 so I keep the game going. But let's take some time and go ahead and put in plantations and houses. And we'll just see how this goes. So let's dock down the center. We can plantation on one side, well, rice, what do they call it? Rice what? Rice planter on one side all the way through, and then the necessary houses on the other. Let's do that. So, dock, trader, and we'll do that real quick. You have got stone, we're going to say we're fine. Coal, no. Charcoal, yes. Silver ore, and that's it. That's it this time. Okay, 1830. Actually, tell you what, I'm going to pause this while I'm thinking. Let's get rid of the bone meal. That's holding back our more expensive items. They're trying to satisfy those 500 before they're going to go in and do the rest. So pottery, let's do this in pottery. So 18, what do we got here? 80, 75 is pretty close. Overpaying by 45, so take that down to 73, and 5 more of something. 1 candle. Okay, trade and dismiss. Still waiting for more food to come. The harvest is going in, so we're up to 11,000 now, but that's not going to hold us long. And we are building more houses, though not that many. It's just a few more scattered out in here. But theoretically, we're... Boy, I wish we just get to work on this one. Well, we're almost there. Yeah, I am running it slow. That's why it feels like it's taking such a long time. Let's queue this guy up and leave him there. We've got the land. The logs are going in now. Alright. This is what we've been waiting for. And... what am I missing here? Oh, we haven't finished? There we go. 10. And 32. There we go. And I'm just going to leave this paused while I spend a little bit of time here filling this guy up. And whoa, those are definitely the wrong keys on my keyboard. There we go. So for some of you, if you want to just fast forward a little bit, that's fine. Those of you who are curious, I'm going to run through here real fast and figure out what is the best thing to put in. We've got the most herbs, feathers, clay, sugar, refined, cotton, reeds. We've got to get something. Fancy furniture. We still have 5,600 fancy furniture out there in the wild. Let's put in 2,000 of that here, right off the bat. Fancy furniture, 2,000. Okay. Salt, cloth. What can we get rid of that doesn't harm us, that's actually an end product? So pottery. Let's put 1,000 pottery in. P. Alphabetical on this side and by numbers on the other side. Pottery. You're here somewhere. There you are. 1,000 pottery. Alright, pottery. Where's that picture? We're not alphabetized. There we are. So leather, stone, wheat, silver pfennigs. They sell for what? It wasn't that much. It wasn't much at all. In fact, I think it was 1. So no, not going to bother with that. Clothing. Full livery. Let's get 500 of that in. There we are, full livery, 500. Let's see, what else is an end product? I wish I knew the answer in the pub meals. Well, let's see if I can find them on this chart. Are they under processed foods? They're not. That's what I didn't think they were. They're probably under luxury, which I don't think counts as a food. Okay. Healing oils, we've got a lot of those yet. So right there, we'll do 250 of those. Furniture, we've got a lot of that. Okay, let's do that as well. There you are. 500. And that may be close to all that we're going to do with this guy. Yeah, we're getting into the smaller numbers here. Although we have some expensive smaller numbers, like the building supplies. 310 of them. Let's keep those kind of things. The building supplies, the fancy homewares, and the homewares will be right in here somewhere for that next trader over there. Alright, so we'll call this done. We have 10 workers ready to fill that up. Alright, so probably time to end this episode. I'm trying to think of what else was going on. I think what else I want to do is just kind of work my way through the last of the buildings. What do we truly need? What do we don't? We'll keep the tin industry going, but there's a few things here that were for fun. They weren't necessary for the survival of the pause here, of the colony. Also, what other jobs can I eliminate temporarily so that there's more builders and laborers, so we can get more of these farms cleared in time for early spring to hit. So I'm going to do some of that off screen, and when I open up next episode, we should be as pruned down as we can and still function. And hopefully this guy will go in quick, and we'll have 3 chances at food traders coming in next year, and that will be the band-aid we need to get just barely above the production numbers that we need in order to survive. We'll see if we can pull out of this nosedive. So this has been Noble Rambler. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like if you were entertained, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you next time. Bye bye, folks.